Today's laptop market is crowded with notebooks from the big players, and companies like Lenovo, HP, Asus, Razer and Alienware have models that pretty much fit every need and can be found in every price bracket. But does a well-known name automatically mean you also get the best overall experience? During the past few years, there have always been niche brands and boutique manufacturers that use bare-bone chassis to slap their branding on them and try to sell you a pretty generic gaming laptop without really offering a lot more or something different than what the big brands are doing already. But there are also brands that really try to build their own identity, and one such manufacturer is definitely XMG. And not only do their laptops rank in the very top spots in our performance testing, no matter what class you're looking at, but with high quality chassis, a big focus on customer service, generous visibility and a pretty unique configuration flexibility, they might offer something you do not get from the big players in the industry. And since we have tested almost their entire product portfolio last year, and I also got my hands on two laptops right now, I thought, why not give you a little bit of an overview to see if some of the lesser known brands are worthy of your attention. Let's get into it. If you are a bit more well-versed in the enthusiast laptop space or followed our RTX 50 series and HX CPU launch coverage last year, you might know XMG or Schenker, which is the parent company, from the new 16, which is the flagship and also shows quite impressively what I meant earlier with configuration flexibility. Since not only can you choose that one with all the high-end NVIDIA GPUs, starting with the 5070 Ti all the way up to the 5090, but you have also completely free reign when it comes to your CPU platform, which means to this date, XMG is one of the few companies that lets you combine a 5090 with a Ryzen X3D, for example. And if you want to know if you should rather go for the Intel model, well, you might want to check out our full video from 2025. In addition to the pure amount of choice, XMG also backs it up with some very high quality full metal chassis, and sure, these are bare bones, so you will find the same or similar case designs from other manufacturers like Eurocom or MacRevo, for example, but still, these laptops do definitely not have to hide behind the Legions, ROGs or Razer blades of this world when it comes to the overall feel. Which also brings us to the Fusion 15, which I have right here in front of me and basically represents the entry into XMG's gaming portfolio. And I would recommend going with the 5060 model, like we have tested on the website, but with an AMD CPU, which carries the Core branding. But again, you have complete control over your configuration, and this puppy is exceptionally well made. We asked them specifically for a 50/50 config for some additional testing and benchmarking for NVIDIA's entry-level GPU, and in our review config, the sleek 15-incher is one of the fastest laptops, betting on the smallest 50 series silicon, but more about that in a little bit. Between this one and the Neo I just mentioned, XMG also offers a plethora of additional models, focusing on more budget-oriented machines that you can still spec with an RTX 5070 Ti like the Focus 17 or the MiniLED Ryzen HX-powered Apex 16 if you want a high FPS gaming experience with Team Red Silicon beating at its heart. And if you want a sleek workstation that can also push some serious frame rates, you might want to check out the first OLED model of the company, the Fusion 16, or our first 5070 Ti reference from last year, the Pro 16. I will link all of our written reviews below, and if we have them, the videos as well. Our second laptop for today is technically not really a gamer, but rather classifies as a workstation. And I saw this one for the first time at CES last year and jokingly asked them if they could send it over in its max config. And well, they did. So meet the Key 18 Pro, which not only packs a Core Ultra 275HX and RTX 5090, but also 256 gigs of RAM and about 28 terabytes of NVMe storage, which is probably enough to buy a house in the current market situation. And while it does not quite feature the sleek overall build quality of its more gaming-focused brethren, It's still well made and comes in a pretty subtle styling and with a 200Hz G-Sync capable 4K IPS panel that got solid numbers in our testing. Even though I wish they would have added additional color presets, given that this could also be a great creator-focused workstation. But I know that's my background, and if you are into engineering or anything related to AI, you probably could not care less about that. The Fusion and Core 15 are equipped with QHD 300Hz panels covering sRGB and feature adaptive sync capabilities, making them well suited for fast games and some semi-professional video and photo editing, while in some higher-end 16 inches you also got access to an excellent 300Hz mini-LED panel, which unfortunately does not support G-Sync but comes with switchable local dimming and pre-calibrated presets, which not even all of the bigger brands support yet. XMG laptops in general and also the Key 18 pretty much always shine when we talk about ports. And in case of the Fusion 15, you get a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2, a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 and a networking jack on the left, your HDMI, mini display port and Thunderbolt 4 USB-C in the back, and an additional pair of USB-As and a full-size SD card reader on the right, which should hardly let you ask for more. And all the other models pretty much share the same extensive connectivity options with some variations. And in case of our workstation, it gets even better, since the 18-inch behemoth features two Thunderbolt 5s on the right, a pair of USB-As on the left, and the power connector, HDMI 2.1 and dual 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports in the back. Maintenance is also a big plus for these laptops, since the whole lineup comes with SODIMMs, and if I recall correctly, pretty much all notebooks also give you access to a pair of NVMe slots. And the Key 18, well, this is just absolutely gorgeous, and while 256 gigs of RAM and the insane amount of storage is way too much, even for me as a video creator, unless I want to move most of our archive to this one. If you need these capabilities in a portable form factor, then you should definitely check out this puppy. Before I give you a little bit of a performance overview compared to some key competitors, I would also like to quickly talk about software. And while the control center for the Key 18 Pro is alright, the one for the Fusion, Core, Pro and Neo models is simply excellent. And during a time where most laptops from the big brands come with a ton of bloatware and are littered with advertising, it's pretty refreshing to get a piece of software that just gives you what you need and allows for some pretty in-depth customization should you want to tinker with your shiny new laptop. But let's talk performance, and since we have tested so many notebooks, I would just put some selected benchmark comparisons back to back to give you an overview of what you can expect from a few different configs XMG has on offer. Feel free to pause at any time, and if you feel like you need some additional data, again, we have thoroughly tested all of these notebooks on the website, so please feel free to check out those reviews right after this video. Alright, so are boutique brands like XMG a viable option compared to the big players out there? That would be a big yes from my perspective, even though my experience is somewhat limited to XMG and Schenker for that matter, but what you get is a stellar performance experience, a much more streamlined software experience, the flexibility to configure your own individual dream laptop, and all of this still mixed with some pretty unique features, like the Neo 16's simply amazing external water cooler, for example. Compared to the big players, you do pay a bit of a premium sometimes, but XMG also puts their laptops on sale quite often and also prouds themselves with a pretty hands-on customer service team. So I would say that offsets a slightly higher initial asking price somewhat, especially considering what was going on within the past few years with some of the bigger brands. But let me know what you think. Did you ever had any experience with some lesser known brands? How was it for you and which companies would you recommend? And with what I showed you today, would you be willing to stray away from the big players in the industry and give the underdog a chance? Well, you know the drill, feel free to sound off below. And that should already be it for today. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. Make sure to leave your like and sub on your way out, and maybe have a look around the channel for more about tech and laptops. My name is Alex, you have been absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.